No, it's just love is such a key thing, and it's interesting how through all of this and everything from beginning of time until now, it's just the Lord's intimacy with us and His love for us that then allows us to grow. So,
And growth is the goal. And
hmm,
in order to get growth, it's gonna happen in ways that we never expected, and it's gonna happen in both the grief and the glory. I feel like a lot of times we forget about that. We forget that a real cornerstone of the faith is like found in John 15, and that's abiding in Christ,
hmm,
abiding in the vine. And the whole process of, I was like actually doing a little deep dive study into John 15, 1 through 5 with a few friends. And when it talks about abiding in the vine, like first off, he says, I'm the true vine. So that if there's a true vine, there's probably a counterfeit.
hmm,
And then you read other places in the Bible talks about a root of bitterness.
hmm,
Not just a root that causes bitterness, but it's saying this is a poisonous root. And so we either will have two sources. We'll either have a source from the true vine, have a source from that thing that is poisonous, and will literally produce bad fruit. But it talks about in a very intense way that those who are of the Lord, our sons and daughters, will get pruned, and those who reject the source will have to be cut off because it's a dead branch. It literally cannot produce fruit. So God desires us to be faithful and fruitful.
Mm.
Faithful and fruitful. And if you know anything about pruning, pruning seems so counterintuitive because it looks
hmm,
like it's counteractive to growth.
hmm.
So it's like, why would you cut a plant to grow a plant? But it's like you actually don't cut a plant to grow a plant. Growth in that sense wasn't the goal, but you prune a plant to produce more fruit. And that's a crazy thing that God actually wants us to be fruitful. And in order to, the normal procedure to like pruning something is to shave off 80% excess, to cut off 80% excess and leave 20% of the branch
Jeez,
of the whatever, which is kind of crazy.
that's letting go
Mm.
of a lot.
And I was like, oh my goodness,
Mm.
there goes your Nintendo. But and we have to we have to let God be the leader in that, really.
Mm.
And we can't make up our own plan or our own like system of discipline. Like Jesus, like no, like I will lead you if you allow me to.
Mm.
It doesn't mean us listening at the beginning and then shutting off the radio. Because what if Abraham like just like heard God like, okay, sacrifice your son Isaac, and like he wasn't continually listening?
Mm.
That would have been bad.
Yeah.
And so we can't just like listen one time and then step away, and then
Hmm.
we have to listen the whole way through if we really want to be instructed in a way that will produce fruit.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think that's a because it goes on to say that the Father is glorified in us bearing fruit. It's it's one of those crazy things about um, even the discipline part. It talks about in Hebrews how discipline leads us into a place
Yeah.
of looking more like Him, being
Mm-hmm.
set apart. The word He uses is holiness, so we may be partakers of His holiness, and that comes from Him disciplining us. That comes from a place of Him leading us and directing us and all these different things. And so, um, yeah, yeah, that pruning process is not. Oof,
I know.
man, it's
I know.
yeah, it's an interesting part, but I think it's so necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So necessary because we come into the kingdom, we have just all sorts of things and ideas, and
Yeah.
we can't function well
Yep.
unless those things are cut off, those things are removed, so we can better be set apart.
Yeah.